to Tabula Rasa, bitches! Hello!
My name is Allie.
And I'm Nick, and I'm so excited!
And welcome to the premiere episode of Tabula Rasa, bitches! We are so glad you are here.
We are in Tabula Rasa, bitches. You'll listen as two decades-long friends jump back into the world of Buffy the Vampire Slayer and relive the show that brought them close together and taught them so many of the values they still cherish today.
Each episode of Tabula Rasa, bitches, and we do have to say it that way every single time, we'll dive into an episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer and discuss the lessons that can be learned from our favorite Sunnydale warriors and the supernatural creatures they use their talents and friendship to overcome. And today we'll be discussing Season 1, Episode 1, Welcome to the Hellmouth. And just settle in for a girthy, nice long episode today as we tell you about ourselves, and just kind of get into the rhythm of everything.
Not quite a good enough of a reason to use the word girthy, but I'll allow it. We are going to be so excited to jump into our first ever episode summary here in a second. But first, Allie,
Nicholas.
Light of my life, amazing, wonderful human who I'm so glad to know. Let's talk about this. Tabula Rasa, bitches. That's such a strange title. Can you unpack it for what's going to be our vast audience?
I absolutely can do that. So we were kind of struggling talking about what the title of our show should be once we decided that we should indeed have a show. And I feel like a title is an important thing, and we both knew that. So I reached out to my good friend, Leanna Haupt, because she is also a big Buffy fan. And I thought, maybe she'd have some ideas. She's also a writer. She's somebody I think of as a very creative person. So I was like, hey, we're starting a Rewatch podcast. We would like it to be, something, a Buffy Rewatch podcast. And she came almost immediately right back with Tabula Rasa, because it is the title of an episode in season 6, comes on the heels of a very landmark episode, but try not to give too many spoilers. And it's her favorite episode. And I do think it's not my favorite, but it's an excellent episode. And as soon as she said that, I was like, oh, clean slate, which is what Tabula Rasa means. And that's kind of us. We're approaching this show with fresh eyes. Like, obviously, this is not our first time watching it. It is a rewatch show for us. But I do think that we're in a very different portion of our lives than we were certainly when we first started seeing this. So I think it's nice to kind of come with a clean slate, fresh eyes, new perspective to see what new things that we notice and learn from this show that we both love.
And isn't that one of the most amazing things about Buffy, speaks to how timeless it is, that you really can come back to it during different phases, different times, challenges that you're going through in life, and kind of take away something new each time, look at something a little different each time.
100%. Yeah. Like any good book or movie or whatever, it's constantly evolving what it means to you. Oh, and the bitches part comes from, we didn't want to sound too hoity-toity with Tabula Rasa, so we added bitches just so that we're still here to have fun. We're
a couple of bitches. We are.
Yeah, we're here to have fun.
I mean, you're a bitch. Yeah. I'm perfect.
Yes, exactly. We can't both be the same. But yeah, like, we're here to analyze and to pick apart and stuff, but for fun. Just for fun.
Two old besties. I would like to share with folks just a little bit about ourselves and how I became to be so incredibly obsessed with you, Allie, if that's okay.
Talking about me, that's always okay.
So my older sister, during Allie and I went to elementary, middle, high school, college together. We've known each other
Woo!
forever, but we got to be especially close when my older sister babysat Allie and her older brother Ben over a summer in high school. And thank goodness she did this, brought me along to hang out with you. So
Yeah. I want to say it was actually like at least 2, if not 3 summers in a row.
it was a thing. It was a
Yeah, so
routine
this
we
is
had during the
it was
summers. We
elementary
hung out.
school,
Yep.
and yeah, my parents both worked, and Ben and I were, minors and stuff. So Melissa would come over and sometimes bring Nick and his older brother Ryan, or sometimes just Nick, and we would have vicious pillow fights and go to Six
So good.
Flags.
Do you remember your
And
unfinished basement at the time? Now it's
yes,
like the
I
most gorgeous
do.
basement ever, but oh my god, so many good memories.
So do. Half of it had carpet on it, and it was freezing, and it didn't have a bathroom down there, and yeah, it was just, like, creepy with lots of dark shadows, and we still had sleepovers and stuff down there, and it was great.
It was so great. Oh,
Yeah.
so many. I could reminisce forever, Allie.
I have so many
Um,
fond memories of going over to your dad's house and hugging Buddy,
oh,
the hot
buddy.
tub.
He was such a good German Shepherd.
Yeah. Oh, and for context, I think and flavor, which I think is very important to our friendship, our very special bond of friendship, is that in 3rd grade, I was obsessed and in love with you.
And how the roles have reversed because I am now obsessed with and in love with you, but
No,
you've
now it's just mutual.
you've decided true. Okay. Well, I've asked you to marry me and you say you have a partner or something, but I like
Yeah, something
Hayden, so it's
well,
fine.
you also have a fiance,
I guess
so
I'm also engaged, so what can
I
we do?
also I also
Yes.
don't have a penis, which I think would hinder your attraction to me.
I do prefer penises. Man,
Yes.
I am about to put this out there and I just spoke the sentence out loud. Okay, cool. That's fine. We're gonna go with it.
I mean,
Um,
you are going to marry a man.
it's true. If he keeps me around, you never know. You never know. Who knows? I'm pretty
Okay.
crazy.
Well,
Um,
if he does something crazy, I will come to South Carolina and do something equally or more crazy. So,
Paul, you heard it here first. Watch yourself. Sleep with one eye open. Allie, tell people where you live, what you do. Walk us through the amazingness that is Allie Press.
oh, well, thank you. So, I am currently in Baltimore, Maryland. I live with my adorable mutt, Hayden Muller, and oh, sorry, I couldn't
That was good.
resist.
That
You
was
know I
good. That
love you,
was good.
baby. No, he's the love of my life. He makes my world so bright and shiny, and we also co-parent a dog, an actual like dog named Hazel, and she is terrific. And I honestly can't believe how I lived so long without a dog. Currently, as we record this, I am in Los Angeles for the month, and I miss my dog so much. It is so weird coming into a house without a dog. But I digress. So professionally, I am an actor. I work as many film gigs as I can get. I'm working on getting an agent and doing more film stuff. And then I also, to actually pay the bills, I work for Simpler Media, which is a podcast production company run by Evo Terra. He is my wonderful boss. And I do production assistant things. So I schedule episodes, I edit videos, I do transcription, I do some audio editing. I'm really just any hat that Evo throws at me, I add it to the hat rack. So, yeah, so that's me.
What a hat rack it is.
Thank you.
And I live in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, which is never a sentence I thought I would say, but here we are with my incredible fiance, Paul, who is a doctor, and
Ow,
I
ow.
ow ow and I work in a fundraising role for a social justice organization, and my real job in life is to be the proud dad slash husband to my pug beagle mix, Prince Joseph Edward Mercer IV. He's stunning. His friends can call him Joey, so all of you can too. And I would be remiss if I did not also. I cannot say enough amazing things about our other amazing, incredible, perfect dog in our life, Samantha. Samantha is Paul's dog, and he did not allow me to give her 4 names like I have given Joey, but that does not indicate I'm any less obsessed with her. So they are my callings in life. And I guess this podcast now too. This podcast is,
No. It does
oh,
feel this does feel right. It feels so right. We should have always had a
feels right.
podcast.
We should have.
Although, if we had done it any sooner, like my previous venture at having a podcast, I would have not known what I was doing. And now I have 5 years of podcast experience under me. So, well, no promises, but I know more than I did last time I was hosting a podcast. So there
I'm
you go.
grateful. I really am grateful for your expertise, and
Thank you.
I'm gonna jump into this episode summary right here in a second, Allie. But I kind of just want to. Allie and I both wanted to solidify one thing before we start, and that is just to recognize the context around Buffy, the complicated feelings that many people, including us, have about what we've learned over the years about Buffy's creator, Joss Whedon. We always have and we always will cherish Buffy for the values and lessons it's taught us, but we want to be clear that we believe the people who've shared their experiences of abuse working with Joss, and we are in solidarity with the brave folks who put their careers and reputations on the line to call out his abhorrent behavior. We also know that Buffy, the character, would speak out against Joss's abuse as well. We believe strongly that Buffy's legacy is more than one abusive man. And Allie, I am grateful, and I know that you are grateful too, for the opportunity to celebrate the show and the impact it's had on us with everybody else.
Absolutely. I'm so excited. And yeah, I just want to add it takes so many people until you're on a film set. You have no idea how many people go into the creation of even just one single episode. It is so much bigger than one insignificant, horrible man. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, fuck that dude, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So,
Okay. Shall we get into this episode summary?
yes, let's dive right in. You
All
start
right.
us off, Allie.
I will. All right. And welcome to the Hellmouth, the first episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. We meet young Buffy Summers, a sophomore entering Sunnydale High School after getting kicked out from her last school in Los Angeles. Buffy's mom, Joyce, is determined to make this a fresh start. Buffy is trying to be optimistic. On her first day, we encounter the friends that will be the main characters for the seasons to come, including Willow, Xander, Cordelia, Jesse, and the school librarian, Giles. As every teenager does, Buffy struggles to fit in while hiding her secret extracurricular activities, being a Slayer. You know, like every teenager. Buffy quickly finds out that not everything will be a fresh start in Sunnydale as it seems. Despite her best efforts, she cannot escape her Slayer calling.
We also meet who will surely be the big bad of the season. The Master, and another figure whose motivations remain unknown, introduces himself to Buffy as simply a friend. This mysterious friend brings tidings of the harvest, and in a bold opening move, gifts her a big ass cross.
It is a bold opening move. The first episode ends with a cliffhanger. Jesse, Willow, and Xander are fleeing and are met by a pack of vampires, while Buffy is sure to have met her match in a fight with the Master's key servant, a vampire named Luke.
Man, oh man. This first episode of the series.
I
This is so
know.
exciting, Allie.
So, for those of you watching along with us, I am currently watching this on Amazon. Amazon has both Buffy and Angel for free on Amazon Prime. And come on, I know all of you are getting that Prime free 2-day shipping, so you can do it too. And I love that Amazon includes the little intro that played on the box sets with the in each generation, a Slayer is born. She alone will stand against the vampires.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, ooh. And of course, I was 3 when this came out. I was watching it live, but I was 3, so I don't remember everything. So I don't remember if that aired with it, but I don't know. Maybe it did.
It's
So yeah.
just that nostalgia of that. It hits me every
Mm-hmm.
time, brings me
Yep.
right back. So good. I'm instantly I love Buffy so much.
I know. So many marathons in my basement. Oh my God. The schoolgirl pleated skirt look is back, and I am here for it. You're going to hear me talk a lot about my deep affection for 90s style.
Buffy is styling so many of them. I mean,
Mhm.
Buffy the show is styling.
Yeah.
Like Buffy
Yeah.
the character is styling. Cordelia is a style
Oh,
icon.
yes.
Xander, he looks good.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, as I shop on places like Dolls Kill and even Forever 21 these days, what I'm realizing is that what I am trying to do is to dress like the mean girls in the shows that I grew up watching. I have no idea what that says about me. Tall knee-high boots, short skirts, sweater
Knee-high boots,
sets.
short skirts. I love how this starts out, and I think this just I love that they set the tone so early with this first scene has
Mhm.
us second guessing things. This first scene, the who we learn a vampire, who we learn is named Darla, is going through in a Sunnydale High with this other guy, and we're led to believe that they're being either followed by something or there's something creepy happening, but then it turns out that she's actually a vampire and kills him.
Ha!
And
Gotcha.
ha, they got us, the viewers. Ah,
Yeah,
man, didn't see that one coming.
I do love a quick turn. I do. I love reversal of expectations, juxtaposition. I love all of that. Cause yeah, it's like it's her that's the vampire, not him.
Hmm.
I think there's a lot of stuff that now I've just come to like take for granted with Buffy, but it's actually like a pretty big deal. Like a lot of the feminist stuff in here is pretty dope. I never broke into any places when I was young. Did you?
Sure did not. Sure did not. Are we lame?
Yeah. In terms of our like in terms of our extracurriculars, yeah. Yeah. I mean, like Anna and Emily, I think ended up breaking into like the women's asylum, the old abandoned women's asylum like in college maybe. Or they were going to and then they like got into an accident or something like that or they were worried that they were going to ruin her sister's car and that was just not an okay thing cuz you don't piss off Lauren.
Oh
So
yeah.
yeah, so basically
Okay.
like my friend group was just we were not adventurous. We liked my basement, pizza, and
Movie
rom-coms.
nights. Yeah.
Yeah, we were all
Yeah.
movie nights were the move.
Oh yeah. We had a good time
So,
too.
yeah, I
Man.
mean, like, I did certainly wasn't pining away, like, wishing someone would invite me to a party, like, I was happy. It's just by other people's standards, yes, we were lame.
Well, what can you do?
Yeah, what can you do? Decades later, and this theme still slaps.
Oh, the theme of
The
us
theme
being
song,
lame.
the theme song. I was
Oh,
like, "Do
oh,
you
oh,
disagree?"
okay, okay,
Sorry,
okay,
yeah,
okay,
this is
okay, okay.
diving back into the show. This theme song
Yeah.
still kicks ass.
Oh, that's so funny.
Oh my
Yes, it
goodness.
does. Cannot agree enough. That's gonna I won't note that every episode, but yeah, just an iconic
But I
theme
will be
song.
thinking it in my head every single time.
Absolutely. I like that we're already getting a glimpse into the master's lair
Mhm.
in her nightmare. It's creepy as
Yeah.
hell. It's creepy.
Yeah. And that ends up being kind of a big thing of her not being able to escape her calling when she moves to Sunnydale. Like, well, she's still clearly being called. She's still being given these nightmares. And that's actually something that ties into the movie, which is sort of a prequel, which I still love. And maybe we'll do that as like a bonus episode at some point because I do love the groundwork that the movie laid, even though there are some differences as far as like what's canon. But that the dreams is a big thing
Mm,
before like when she is being called and before she like meets Merrick, her first watcher or whatever, she gets these dreams that she cannot explain.
can't run away from who you are, Buffy. You can't do it.
No,
I'm so sorry.
you can try. Everyone on this show can get it. I
Yes.
mean
Who
everyone.
were who is that? Who are you thinking specifically of when you wrote that?
Uh, Buffy, Xander, Giles, Cordelia, Jesse, Willow. Yeah,
So what I was
pretty much
thinking of,
everybody.
I wrote a similar note. What I was thinking of is even the first time we see Xander on his skateboard and
Mm-hmm.
he's being all cute. I yeah, everybody on this show can get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jesse, super hot.
Yep. Yep. Well, and I the guy best friend kind of like 90s role, that was absolutely who I would have had a crush on in school.
It is,
Like, it
yeah.
wasn't who everybody would have said, like, it wasn't the captain of the football team, like, that kinda guy, like, it was the geekier guy who would have been in, like, probably the same clubs as me or in band, and, like, I would have been all over Xander Harris.
Got some teddy bear vibes to him.
Mhm, and that, like, middle part 90s boy hair, all about it.
The middle part is back.
Yeah, that's true, that's true. Some of us are not meant to rock a middle part, and that's our cross to bear,
Yeah,
but it
I
is
f I feel
definitely
that.
back. Yeah, you'll notice a lot of 90s girl fashion is back, but not the guys' baggy pants. That is staying in the 90s where it belongs.
Yeah, I love the boys', uh, upper wear, but the baggy pants have gotta go, I don't love them.
Mhm.
Somebody who can stay forever, and I wish did stay forever, is Principal Flutie, because I
Oh,
find him just a gem.
speaking of teddy bears, oh,
Speaking
Principal
of teddy
Flutie.
bears, how he offers Buffy that clean slate, rips up the permanent record, and then tapes it back together when he realizes
And
why
then
she.
tapes
But
back.
yeah, like
Oh, that's what I
the
was trying to
thought
do.
was there. The thought was there. It was cool.
Yeah, the intention is absolutely there, and he just definitely strikes you as that person who is genuinely in education for the right reasons, which we don't get a lot of.
Mm.
Interesting that Buffy is so in denial of being the Slayer, but she still packed a steak to school.
Yeah, can never be too prepared,
Yeah.
can you?
No, no, and I do think that maybe speaks to her, like, still her gut instincts
Mhm.
of, like, it's just that second nature, and once you know about these things that go bump in the night, you can't unknow it.
And we see this later in this episode too. This she does a student's dead body turns up, and she
Mhm.
could choose to choose to
Right, that's
ignore
not
it,
her
whatever.
job, she's not a cop.
She can't do it though. She has to go.
Right.
Maybe the stake is the similar. I gotta like. How can I not?
Mhm.
Can't just run away from who you are.
Right, I think so. Yeah, there's definitely that, right, like you said, she can't not know,
Mm.
she may go in and find that it was, whatever, he had a heart attack or whatever, but, of course, he didn't not because this is Sunnydale. Um, you never this was an observation I had watching this, watching her sit down next to Cordelia in class. You never stay friends with the first friends you make.
That's so true.
That's something I learned after years of going to summer camp of like, because on that first day, you're really just going with like, I need to not be alone. So I'm going to sit next to you
Mm.
and we're going to be friends. And because I need somebody to talk to. But that's not who you actually end up bonding with and who you're still writing to after camp. Or same thing happened in college with like the friends I made freshman year. I could tell that they were not my forever friends. And it's interesting the way that that works out.
I don't know if you've ever had this experience, Allie, but I remember especially very vividly when I went to college. It was that same, very strange for me being at college because I had had our friend group. We had been friends since
Right.
elementary through high school. So being in college was
Absolutely.
already strange, but then made even stranger because I like hadn't had to make friends in a long time. And I remember this vivid experience. I had just finished up a like conversation. It was like one of those we all like sat and ate together or something. It was like a don't eat alone kind of thing. And I remember they walked away and I was like, are they gonna be my friends for the next four? Oh God, this is gonna be a long 4 years.
I had a
Oh,
I had a very similar moment when we were sitting in our freshman common room. I think we all had our laptops out, like doing work and stuff, and they were chit chatting about whatever. And I remember looking around and going, "Yeah, this isn't it. These aren't them."
these
You
aren't
know?
them.
Yeah, there. It was just nothing in common. They were
Really
very
trying to force
much
it.
really trying to force it, and it was fresh as far as freshman year went, it was fine. We had a great time. Took a hard turn sophomore year.
You
Just
lived in residence hall.
yes, freshman year,
Yeah, right?
Res Tower.
Rest Tower. Yeah,
Yeah,
that was really
which
fun.
got a
Yeah, I remember that.
facelift. Lucky it. It doesn't look so
Oh,
sad and prison like anymore.
yeah, yeah, it did give prison vibes. Yeah, well, to anybody listening who's going through a transition right now, you'll end up with the friends you're supposed to end up with. Both Allie and I made friends in college. It'll be fine. You got this.
Absolutely, absolutely, and you do have to take some chances. You do have to get out there because friends will not just knock on your door room. Just
Mm.
saying. Okay, back to the show. Giles's face when he pulls out the vampire book, he's just like so excited. He's like a puppy, like his eyes light up, and he's like, "Oh, okay, well, I guess not. Guess I was mistaken."
Yeah. That Buffy books it as soon as
Oh
books
yeah.
it after she sees the book. I didn't even mean to do that. Buffy departs quickly when she's confronted with more evidence of the fact that she's a Slayer.
Yeah. And I think she's just so thrown off guard because she's just going to get her Bio 101 textbook or whatever. And that's
Mm.
what's thrown in her face. I can imagine being a little thrown off. That brings us to a great Willow quote when Buffy goes up to talk to her and she goes,
I was just about to say this. We are on the same wavelength.
"Yeah, why? I mean, hi." It's such a mood.
I love aren't you hanging out with Cordelia? Can't I do both?
Not legally.
Not legally.
I love 90s speak. As Cordelia comes in and Buffy asks about the body in the locker room, she goes, "Morbid much? I didn't ask."
Oh,
And then
God,
we get
Cordelia has so many.
yeah, she is just the queen of quotes. She is so quotable. Then we get a really nice moment of show don't tell of Buffy's Slayer strength when she's going into the gym and the gym door is locked and she just gives it a little extra oomph and like breaks off the whole handle. And we're like, "Oh, okay, cool, super strength." Like we didn't need some big expository thing. This is one of the things that confirms my like Buffy is an amazing show knowledge of like, okay, yeah, it's excellent writing. They do a lot of show don't tell. That's a really great introduction to all of these characters. Like I said, without doing some big info dump.
And I feel like too the way they showed it, not but by telling, the audience would have gotten the full context of everything, maybe. But by showing, we just get a little taste. And oh man,
Yeah.
if you thought that show
Yeah.
of strength was impressive, just wait till you see it. It leaves us
Right.
wanting more, which is
Absolutely.
interesting.
Absolutely. And it shows us gives us room to grow. Because we're like,
Mm,
okay,
mhm,
yeah, right now she can snap off handles and stuff like that.
mhm.
And, we see her do far more impressive feats later on. Um, another great quote from Buffy. "Gee, can you vague that up for me?"
Oh, she's so sassy. It's so good.
Yeah.
What do we think of this moment where she's just flips out at Giles? I don't want to do this. Whatever. Walks away. Turns out Xander's told the whole thing.
So cool. Yeah, and such a really important thing because I don't know if he would have gotten involved with the whole events that happen after the bronze. Like, I don't know if he would have even been
Mhm.
out at the bronze that night because he
Mm.
went to go. Well, I mean, maybe he would have. Maybe he would have. But like, it's clear he like went to go find Buffy to ask her about this.
And when he's going to the Bron, like he happens to, well, we'll get into it.
Yeah.
I don't think that I think you're right though. We'll get. I don't think he would have continued to be involved if he hadn't overheard that. I haven't thought about that until now, Allie. You're right.
Well, because he opens the door because Buffy never would have told him on her
Hmm.
own. She's like, "Well,
Hmm.
he already suspects, and I have to go save Willow from a vampire right now anyway. So I guess, like, yeah, it's true." But she wouldn't have told him if he didn't already know. And Willow meets actual vampires, which is why she believes Buffy when she says that she's the Slayer, because they now have, tangible proof. But she didn't have to go through that part of like, do I tell my best friend if I'm the Slayer? It's like, well, she didn't have a choice.
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah. He found out. Um. So on the way to the bronze, we meet the sexy, mysterious
Well,
stranger whose name we don't know yet.
played by the gorgeous David Boreanaz.
Oh my God, he's so cute.
I know. I feel like there's a whole section of people who grew up knowing him as Booth from Bones, and I'm like, ha, Booth. Yeah, no, that's it. That's Angel. Although
That's Angel, yeah.
he is also smoking hot as Booth as well.
Yeah, he's really good in that show too. Shout out to David Boreanaz for helping me figure out my sexuality. I really appreciate it, dude. Really appreciate it.
Yes, agreed. We both thank you for that. But before we got to Angel, who the fuck is the old beardy guy lurking behind Luke?
He's not in vamp mode, is he?
Yeah, there's like this one random guy in the lair of the master who's behind Luke in this shot. And he's just this weird beardy dude. Just, I don't know.
And
don't know.
I swear it is either in that scene or in a later scene in the lair. I can't. Maybe I have to go back and confirm. But I swear that I saw another vampire walk in, also in presumably vampire, in human face too, and it just felt sacrilegious. It was like, you are around. You are in the lair. You got to be in vamp mode here. Come on, man. What are you doing?
Right. So odd. It was just something that it's like the epitome of like noticing something you never noticed before. Like I've seen this episode a million times. I had never noticed weird beardy dude behind Luke.
What a creepy lair though, right?
Yeah. Oh, epic. Epic. So cool. All the candles. You would need a whole cadre of vampire minions just to keep all those candles lit.
That's a treacherous job for a vampire too.
Absolutely. So moving back to Angel, I have a note. Angel, why are you like this? Like in modern context, it is definitely weirder having him come up, be super vague, and
super cryptic,
and but also like kind of weird when she's like, "Whoa, yeah, what do I want?" He's like, "To kill them all," and you're like, "What? Who raised you? Why don't you come here like?" First of all, surprising a young woman in an alley. What is wrong with you? After following her first,
he's crept up on a young woman in the alley.
Although I love the pole move she does, where she's doing a handstand on the pole and then swings down and kicks him in the back. Bad ass. Love that
Homegirl's
moment.
A gymnast on top of everything else.
Hell yeah. So super cool. Love that. But yeah, you're just like, it's definitely because when I was like 3 when I was first watching this show. So I was just like stars in my eyes at this brooding bad boy kind of thing. I was totally like all over that. But definitely now knowing and having dated, and I'm just like, that's weird. It's a weird choice, dude. And you're not young.
That question that you posed at the beginning, why are you like this, is a good one. It really is. Isn't that just I feel like that's such a, I don't know if it's still a trope in TV, certainly in the 90s, where it'll be like, so much of this could have been so much of what these characters go through if they had just talked a little more, if they just communicated a little better.
I think we're very slowly starting to get away from that. There are newer shows where people actually like communicate, or they eventually fess up to their thing. And I think that's so much better writing, because it's just, after a while, I get that there's not some people who don't tell the truth, or they don't tell all their secrets or whatever, but like most people do. Most people communicate, and I think it's, at the end of the day, it ends up being lazy writing. I think it works for Angel because it slowly gives us like who he is, and he is meant to be this brooding, mysterious, hunky guy. Like that's his role. And Buffy doesn't do a ton of that, like secret identity stuff, and there's not a ton of it. It's not obnoxious, you know.
No, they use that tool sparingly, and I appreciate that.
They don't Clark and Lana it. Little Smallville reference for the rest of the hot 90s guys fans.
Hot 90s guy, indeed. I'm going to my next note. Allie, you go.
Okay. Well, I have just a quick, oh my God, going to a club alone. She's brave. Like, beyond Slayer bravery, just going to a club alone.
Oh, have you not had that experience where you walk in and you wave to somebody, or somebody waves to you and you wave back, and it turns out that they actually weren't waving at you?
Oh, of course I have. I am a human who has lived on this planet for more than 10 years. Yes, I've had that experience.
Oh, that's awful. Sometimes I think about times I've done that right as I'm falling asleep.
Oh.
Do you have that? Do you think about embarrassing things you've done right before you?
Of course I do. Yeah,
Okay, good. Woof.
or I'm just like while I'm driving, or it's not usually like before I'm falling asleep, but it's at random points in my day, and you want to just like shake your head like an etch a sketch because you're like, why would I think about that? There's nothing I can do about it.
I have to swerve off the road now. This is how it ends. This is how
Right.
it has
This
to
is
end. I can't
just
do it.
I have to stab my eye so that I can think about something else.
Oh,
Um
stab my eye. That's a good reference to an episode of Angel, which maybe we'll discuss at some point. A stabbing in
mhm.
the eye.
So this does
Um,
bring us to one of my all-time favorite quotes. Seize the moment, because tomorrow you might be dead.
oh, that's so good. She's giving advice to Willow. Come on, Willow. Just talk to boys. Talk to a boy. You can do it. Seize the moment. You might be dead.
Yeah, but then she does seize the moment and ends up being a vampire.
And
So
then it ends up being a vampire.
that's what
Fucking
we
of
get
course, right,
for being
dude?
brave. That's what we get.
Ugh.
So stay at home, eat pizza, watch movies, and you won't
I
end
think
up in a
it's
mausoleum.
I think it's so funny, and I wonder. This is a question for you.
Okay.
Buffy, Giles, who is also at the Bronze, implores Buffy to use her senses, detect a vampire.
Hmm.
And she's like, boom, got him right there. It's the
I love
clothes.
that
It's got to
moment.
be the clothes.
You
I
look like
kind
the
of think,
barge.
I think, I think she is using Slayer powers though. I think there's,
Yeah,
his clothes do give it away, but I think she's also being humble.
I think it's a bit of both. I think, or a bit of all of it. Yeah, I see her being like kind of flippant. Because again, just this kind of like, who are you to tell me what to do? You don't know anything about me.
Mm,
Um, he may know that her last watcher died, but he may not. I think that
hmm
is a lot of why she's reluctant. I think because I'm choosing to keep that as canon from the movie of her first watcher dying. Um, so yeah, but I do think she probably has kind of a Slayer sense, Spidey sense type thing. But I do think it is part of her unique power as what makes her particular version of a Slayer is her noticing his fashion choice.
mm.
Like that's maybe her Buffy Summer brand of Slayer power because that's her deductive reasoning. She's
That's a
smart.
Slayer ability in and of itself, isn't it?
Yeah, like her intelligence level and her particular attention to detail and that kind of thing. I can see that as just as being a power cuz I think maybe a lot of people would have maybe not like think of it as the height of fashion, but noticing just how out of date it is.
hmm
It's
hmm
carbon dated.
It's carbon dated. That's good.
Yeah. And we do
Um,
see time and time again examples, and we'll talk about this in later episodes, but we see examples lots of times just how smart Buffy is.
mhm.
Not to be underestimated.
This next mini scene, so Vampire is escorting Willow out,
Oh
and
wait,
Buffy's like,
right
"Oh shit, I
before
gotta go find them."
that when she describes Angel to Giles because she thinks he's a friend of Giles. She's gorgeous in an annoying sort of way. I love that because there are some people who are just so gorgeous. You're like, now I'm pissed off.
Yeah,
Like
it's not
you're
fair.
so pretty. Now I'm angry.
And I this feeling that she's getting at, this like forbidden kind of love thing,
Mm-hmm.
is going to be a theme that comes up.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Recurring theme.
Um, this scene with Cordelia is iconic.
I mean, nobody cool has Epstein Barr anymore.
Yeah.
As if there are cool and not cool diseases. Talking about what her mom has or doesn't have, or at least chronic fatigue syndrome.
I love when Buffy is looking for Willow and she like low key assaults Cordelia. What is your emotional trauma?
Yeah, your childhood trauma. Oh, amazing. And then, of course, the follow up to that. Excuse me. I have to call everyone I have ever met right now.
I say that now. That is a phrase from Buffy, and there's a lot of phrases from Buffy that I've stolen and use in my everyday
Of course.
language.
Absolutely.
This is one of them. Excuse me, I have to call everyone I've ever met right now. I used it this week. Somebody sent me a funny video through text message, and I responded back to him. I said, "Hang on. I have to forward this to every person in my phone."
Oh, I love that. I love that. Buffy has woven her way into our lives in so many ways that I probably don't even notice on a daily basis.
And we are blessed for it, aren't we?
For sure. I mean, I wrote one of my college essays on Buffy the Vampire Slayer. So
It's incredible. I didn't know that.
yeah. I also my history final senior year of high school, I had done all of the math, the grade math to know like what I needed to get on my final, and it was like I could fart and pass. So I decided rather than writing about Vietnam, which we'd only had like a week of classes on, I decided I would write about the Battle of Sunnydale, uh, which I will talk about, I guess, in more depth in 3 seasons. But yeah, so that's if you want to know just an example of what a nerd I am. I think I got a C on it.
I was gonna ask, what grade did you end up
I
getting?
think I
Did
got
they
a
give you any kind of gimme points or whatever?
I think I got a
Had to have.
C.
That's impressive.
I think I got a C, which is impressive because I didn't write on the topic at all, which means it should have been an F.
Yeah.
I should have gotten a 0. If I got a C, that means I got points. So
You
that means
made
he
some
gave
sort
us
of compelling case.
I must have. It was
What?
well
Tell me
written
about
and well thought.
what class? Tell me about this essay in college. This sounds interesting.
So it was about the influence of Buffy as a role model on my choices.
Wow.
Yeah. So in season 4, she has a quote: "Fortune favors the brave." I know some people say
Mm.
bold. She says brave, which means that's what's correct. And that became a motto for my life. Taking chances and being brave, being bold, and despite of nerves or not being sure if I was good enough and those kinds of things.
Allie, you're being brave right now. You're in Los Angeles
Yes, I am by myself
for a month.
for a
That
whole
was
month.
brave.
Thank you. I forget that sometimes, and sometimes I need to be reminded.
Well, I'm here. Buffy's here to remind you.
I love you.
Fortune favors the brave. I love
It
you
does.
too. God damn it. Ugh. Anyways,
So I just another shout out to the Master as an excellent villain. Scary, not ridiculous, just like subtle. And yeah, and he looks great. Like for
mhm.
practical, non CGI, old school effects, he looks fantastic.
He's suave too. He's a
Mhm.
suave kind
Mhm.
of, which makes him scarier in a lot of ways.
Absolutely. Also, what's scarier is how much blood do you have to drink to permanently stain your mouth?
I, for sure, as a child watching this, thought his lips were just chapped. Dudes drank a lot of blood in his time, didn't he?
Yeah, I think so. I think it was the blood. I think that
Do you
is
think it was the
I think
blood?
we're meant to interpret it as such.
Come on, it could be dry down there. You don't know.
It could be both, sure. Or no, I love the picture of like Luke pulling out some Carmex or like some Vaseline for him.
Do you need some Burt's Bees?
Actually,
Yeah,
no, because he emerges out of that like pool of blood.
of blood.
He's hella
Yeah,
hydrated.
that's very, yeah. Blood is, I guess,
It
very
is very
hydrating. Yeah,
hydrating.
maybe it's the blood. Maybe you're right, Allie.
Yeah. I can't remember who said this, but oh. So the guy who looks like DeBarge, who's with Willow, the vampire who takes Willow, and they're walking through the cemetery, he says, "Come on, what are you afraid of?" And my thought was, you, the white male.
Yeah, the white dude who, good idea, the walking me through a cemetery.
Yeah, it's a shortcut.
Don't gaslight me. What am I afraid of? There's
No,
tons to be afraid of here.
when he
Come
wants to go,
on.
like, okay, I can see cutting through the cemetery, whatever. Maybe it's a shortcut, but then like sidetracking into the mausoleum. No, I mean neither of us would do that, as we've already established. We did not do crazy things and felonies or anything like breaking in places. Absolutely not. No, thank you.
Yeah, hard pass. I like when Willow establishes some boundaries here. I love a good
Mm-hmm.
boundary. She
Yes.
says, that wasn't funny. And
Yep.
it wasn't funny
Yep.
what he
Call him
did.
out.
Call him out.
Yeah. And she says she wants to go home. She's like, I don't like this. I want to go home.
Mhm.
Atta girl.
We'd love to see it, Willow.
Love to see it. Yes, leading by example. Love the quips once Buffy comes in and is fighting the vampires. I love the quips. Love a quip, and it's something that should
So
be.
many
The show
good.
ends up being famous for her quips while
Yeah.
fighting.
Yeah, the Slayer vibes. That's one of my favorite quotes from this episode. Well, this is nice. It's a little bare, but a dash of pain, a few throw pillows. Call it a home.
And that's sort of foreshadowing to someone who does end up putting some throw pillows in a sound system and living out of a
Fridge,
fridge.
a
Yep.
recliner.
Clearly found he must have lots of extension cords. But yeah, a recliner. Yep. So
I wonder who that utility bill goes to. Whatever, I won't think about it
he
too
doesn't
much.
care. It goes to the city or whatever's in control of, because I assume it's the cemetery's power. So whether it's a city funded or a private cemetery.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
There we
Yeah,
go.
I guess the cemetery owners are just like, okay, boom, question answered.
Where
Plot
is
hole
all of this
filled.
electricity going? How is
Got
these dead people? I don't know
it.
what's going on.
Another Slayer vibe from this episode that I love. She's baiting the vampires, and she's like, "Are you sure you want to fight?" Now, this is not going to be pretty. We're talking about violence, strong language, adult content. She stakes somebody and goes, "See what happens when you roughhouse? Man, don't pick a fight with somebody who's making fun of you while you're thinking about fighting them. It's not going to go
Absolutely.
well."
Because it does speak to like their confidence. You're like, how are they this confident that they're able, like, they're not expending enough energy fighting me, but
Yeah,
they also have energy to quip. So it's like, yeah,
I am
that's how you know you're
so
outmatched.
I'm so little of a threat to this person
Yep.
that they are sassing me while I'm getting ready to fight them. Like, yikes. That's humbling.
Absolutely. Yeah. The last note
And
I
then,
have for this episode is Buffy starts at such a really great place of like clearly capable, clearly strong. But as we'll see when Luke comes in, lots of room to grow. Like we can still see her newness. Whereas, she has been slaying for probably, I don't know, 6 months, a year,
mm,
about that. If she was called towards the beginning of freshman year, but she still has a ways to go and has a lot to learn, which is pretty cool.
yeah, they do a really good job of setting kind of the bounds of her power right at
Hmm.
first. It leaves us wanting more.
Yeah,
And she's not the only character who we're going to see substantially grow in their power.
absolutely true. And unexpected too.
Mm.
It's definitely not something I would have called.
Yeah, for sure not. Okay. Each episode, we're going to talk about some sort of moral, some sort of theme, some sort of, what have you. I would submit for this one this idea that we talked about already, that you can't run away from who you are in a couple of different senses, right?
Absolutely.
Buffy, the dreams are going to keep coming to Buffy, whether she wants them or not. The vampire mystical forces are going to keep finding her, but also she has an inner drive she goes to look at the dead student to see if her fears were confirmed, and
Hmm.
she puts herself in great danger to go rescue her new friend. Um, can't run away from who you are, can you?
Yeah. And I also think there's sort of, yeah, she can't run away from who she is as much as she's trying, as much as she is really trying to get back to where she was pre slaying in her old school, where she was one of the popular girls. She was a cheerleader. So she wants to be friends with Cordelia off the bat because she's cool. She wants to be fashionable. She struggles over her outfit for the first day and for the bronze and stuff. So you can see her trying to go back to that like popular girl life, but then you see her face when Cordelia is a bitch to Willow,
Hmm.
where you can just see that like the dust has been rubbed out of her eyes,
Hmm.
and she cannot go back to that ignorance of, popular girl mentality. Things are deeper than that. She knows that there are bigger things to do than your hair on a Saturday night. So, as much as she wants to, she can't deny what she now knows, this new aspect of her.
Oh, that reminds me of that musical Children of Eden. Have you ever listened to it, Allie?
I saw a show with you at Glenelg
We did
Country.
see that together.
Mhm.
Oh, that was one of my favorite productions of it too. One of the characters in it, Eve, it follows kind of loosely the story of Adam and Eve eats the apple or whatever, and also the Garden of Eden is misogynistic as fuck. Why are you putting all the blame on the whatever? It's fine. Anyways,
It's fine.
um, a god in the musical asks Eve if you could take it back, would you? And she says, I don't want to feel this pain, but no, I wouldn't go back. And it's kind of like I'm hearing kind of a similar thing there with Buffy. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, she is. What do you do? Like you say, she knows what goes bump in the night now. She
Mhm.
can't turn back. And it's both in her slaying life, but also just her as a person who cares
Mhm.
about people.
Yeah. Yeah, she grew whether she wanted to or not.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Mm. Um, what are your final thoughts about this episode, Allie?
I think it is an excellent pilot episode. I think it gives us such a great first introduction into all of these characters. And again, I can't say it enough. All of the show don't tell, you know, just by the way that people talk to each other, we can tell that Jesse, Xander, and Willow have been friends for a very, very long time, probably
Mm-hmm.
since elementary school, like us. And they didn't have to say that. They didn't have to say like, "Oh, we've been lifelong friends." Like, no, we get that. And even in just little things, like we know that Giles is new
Mm-hmm.
because when Buffy talks about the librarian to Willow, she's like, "Oh yeah, he's new. He seems so cool." And she's like, "Oh, he's new." And it's just like
Mm.
in they drop little bits of information that I think has created just such a great foundation.
I think it's cool too how the characters are so established in their little quirks and everything right from the start.
Oh
Like
yeah,
it really feels like the characters that we see, like by the end of the second season, for example, they've grown, but Cordelia's still a bitch.
right. They're
And
still them. They
yeah.
do shift and change with the things that happen to them. But it's not in the same way that like if you look at the beginning of Brooklyn Nine-Nine, the first couple episodes, Rosa is not the same as she is in the fifth, sixth, seventh episodes of the first season. You can tell that they were still figuring out that character and they were still making changes and stuff. And there wasn't quite what she was going to be the whole time. No, these are the characters. They are fully fledged, they are three-dimensional.
Did do you know was were these the breakout roles for these actors? Not
Almost
Anthony Stewart
definitely.
Head. He
Almost
was
definitely.
yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
Man, they got a couple of winners. Oh, I love this
Mhm.
show so much.
Yeah. And it's interesting, Charisma Carpenter, who played Cordelia, actually initially auditioned for Buffy.
I think I did know that. I think you told me that before.
I
That's so
probably did. I
interesting.
used to come back from
How
conventions with all sorts of information.
do you think yeah, what if no, it's gotta be Sarah Michelle Gellar. Gotta be Sarah Michelle Gellar. There's no I can't see those characters as can you imagine a Willow type Buffy?
No, of course not.
Can't do it.
No.
Can you it's gotta be Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I really can't imagine anybody else as it. I mean, and also seeing her 7 seasons and comic books and all that, it's very hard to see anybody else playing Buffy Summers. I could see other
Mm,
Slayers, but anyone else as Buffy Summers, you just can't.
can't do
Can't
it.
do it.
Gotta be Sarah Michelle Gellar. Do you wanna close this out, Allie?
I will. I think that about does it for this episode. Thank you so much for joining us, and we hope you'll join us again for our next episode when we'll discuss season 1, episode 2, The Harvest.
And if you were just too excited to wait until our next episode to chat, send us an email at tabularasabpod@gmail.com. And you can also say hello to us on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook at tabularasabpod. Allie,
Yes.
I do not have a social media presence. You do. Where can people find you on social media?
Well, Nick, you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at daughterpick, DAUGHTERPICK, and at Future Black Cat on TikTok. That spelled how it sounds. And then if you would like to support my journey as a young artist, you can head over to buymeacoffee.com/AlliePress, ALLIEPRESS. That would be much appreciated. Much love.
You get great content from it too. You're a great writer, Allie, and I
Oh,
get
thank
some weekly,
you.
not so weekly updates from you that I love reading.
I appreciate that. I do. I share on the Buy Me a Coffee. You also get not so weekly updates, which are what they sound like, update on, auditions and gigs and life stuff. And if you're into that kind of thing, head on over there.
How about that?
How about that?
Well, Allie, our friends, all of these social media handles are going to be in the description. Hit us up. And Allie, I can't wait to talk with you again very, very soon.
Me too. I love you. Until then,
Love you.
make good choices.
Bye.
Bye.
Tabula Rasa, bitches, is hosted by Allie Press and Nick Mercer, with music by Inflaton Cult, artwork by Charlotte Fleming Design, and consultation by Evo Terra.